Thank you very much. This is the only word I know here in Indonesia. Then my friend has explained me how to say the thank you in Indonesian. And I'm so pleased to be here because of the invitation from the University of Malang. And I have now here the stopwatch to let me know the time. Yeah? Okay. My title is Japan Physical Education System in Secondary Schools in an International Context. I'm so pleased to show this idea with you all. And I'm so honored to be here to share my experience and also the trial in Japan. Okay, my presentation are now dividing into these 5 parts. At the beginning, quality physical education in international context. The second, Japan PE system from curriculum flexibility. And the third, the Japan PE system from facilities, equipment, and resources. And the fourth, Japan PE system from teacher education, supply, and development. And the fifth, Japan PE system from monitoring and quality assurance, and so on. I'm now working with the Cambodian people and also the Myanmar people, and also in Bosnia Herzegovina to develop the physical education, the curriculum. But as you know, not only developing the curriculum is not enough to implement the physical education, especially quality physical education. Okay. Well, you can see this is one of the homepage, the article in JICA, Japan International Cooperative Agencies. And JICA is now strongly promoting physical education of Japan into their abroad. But how looks like the Japanese physical education system in international context? It's very important. Only giving some system is not enough. We have to know the cultural background or the system in each country. Otherwise, it will fail to implement the quality physical education. Therefore, we are always talking with the people in several countries, and also the similar situation will happen in Japan. Yeah, this is the definition of quality physical education in 2015. As you know, the time allocation in physical education has reduced in the latter half of the 1990s. It's one of the crises of physical education, not only several countries, but all over the world. What the people has done at that time, the people has gathered together and set some international conference. World Summit on Physical Education in 1999 is one of the topics. And in cooperating with the ICSSH and also the UNESCO, they are hardly trying to develop the definition on quality physical education. As you can see here in this slide, the expected outcome of the quality physical education is not only skill or fitness, knowledge and understanding, and the affective skills, and the social skills. It's a very good expected outcome to be achieved in physical education. But people has a quite different image on physical education. Therefore, ICSSH or UNESCO are strongly promoting to diffuse this concept, and also some system to implement this quality physical education. As you can see in this slide, sorry. There is a 5 aspects. If we would like to realize the quality physical education. First one, teacher education, supply, and development. This is the first aspect. The second aspect, facility, equipment, and resources. The third aspect, curriculum flexibility. The fourth aspect, community partnership. And the fifth, monitoring and quality assurance. Without these aspects, it is impossible to implement the quality physical education in each country's context. So, my presentation will follow these the 5 aspects as so far as I can do. And I have taken as the first aspect the curriculum flexibility. You can see this is our educational system. Our educational system is compulsory is elementary and junior high school. From the 6th, our elementary or primary school will begin. It's 6 years. And from the 13 to the 15, 3 years junior high school. It's our compulsory school system. But before entering to the primary schools, we have also the kindergarten and also senior high from the 16. Over the 98% of students are going to the senior high school. That means the senior high school is like the compulsory school. And on the other hand, how about the physical education in this the educational system? As you can see, we have geographically we have a quite different condition. In the north area, we have the much snow. In the south area, there is no snow. And then also in Tokyo or in the big city, there is a very small the places to play and so on. And then it's very difficult to control all the physical education with the one course of study. Therefore, the government has defined in the course of study the time allocation and the quality teachers, how to keep the quality teachers, and how many times should be given to the physical education. These are described on the legal basis. But the government don't want to control the teaching strategy or autonomy of school because the situation in each school is quite different. Therefore, keeping the autonomy for school is so important in our context. On the other hand, we have to check the condition, how the physical education are implemented. This is the number of teachers and the rate of female teachers in each school level in Japan. As you can see, in elementary school, 2/3 of the teachers are females. But in senior high, 1/3 of the teachers are female. That means most of the physical education in elementary school are taught by mostly the female teachers. And in the senior and the junior high school, physical education are taught by the physical education specialists. But even though in elementary schools, some schools are now introducing the department system. That means they employ the physical education specialists for teaching in physical education. This is the rate of the schools which have taken the physical education department system. For the first grader, 6% of schools are now employing the department system. And for the sixth grader, 12%, about 12% schools are now taking the department system. That means they have a specialist in teaching physical education. But you can see the rate of the physical education department system is not so high in comparison with the other subjects. You can see the music, almost 6% schools are now taking the department system. And also the science, almost half of the schools are taking the department system. And then on the other hand, this is one of the examples, how many the schools have now the specialists or the licensed physical education teachers in schools. Almost 31%, that means 1/3 of the school has a specialist who has license in teaching physical education in junior high school and so on. And then, at the bottom, almost 8% teachers have license in teaching physical education, even though they are now working in elementary school. And then, how about the co-education? I don't know how you have teaching. You are now teaching physical education in school. Usually, as I have mentioned, the physical education in elementary school are teaching by the classroom teacher. Therefore, in elementary school, they are co-education. Therefore, the teaching physical education in elementary school are usually implemented co-educative. But in junior and the senior high school, some schools are taking the co-education system, but some schools taking the separated system. The teacher teaches the physical education only for boys or only for girls' classes. But in the revision of this time's the course of study, Japanese government are now strongly recommending to implement all subjects co-educative. That means the physical education lesson should be taught in co-education, even though in senior high school or junior high school. We are now in the process to change the system. So basically promoting co-education in physical education at this moment is should be considered with teaching strategies such as grouping and the safety, etc. The government has recommended this condition and so on. And we have the only one mandated course of study to all over Japan. Basically, it's a legal basis. That means in every 10 years, we revise. But how to revise it? Sorry, you can see revision, and we have notified our new course of study. But implementation, before the implementation, we take the 3 years. That means during these 3 years, the teacher has to prepare for introducing the new course of study. It takes a little bit of time. And the government also support, and also educational board supporting to get them know the new content or new teaching strategy and so on. Okay, sorry. And on the other hand, the name of the subject, in elementary school, we called our subject physical education. But in junior and senior high school, we called the name of the subject health and physical education. But I should say, this is the time allocation for the physical education. We have almost 3 hours per week for the physical education in elementary school and also in the senior high school and the junior high school. 105 hours in a year, but we have 35-week system in a year. But we have to say, in the physical education in elementary school, we are including health education. The time allocation for health education is already decided. And on the other hand, you can see in elementary school, for the 5th grader and the 6th grader, yeah, that is not 105. Why? In this revision, we are introducing the foreign language as a compulsory subject, the new subject. Therefore, the government has decided to give the time for the foreign language something. Therefore, we cannot increase the number of the time allocation for physical education. Okay. And on the other hand, this is assessment of the achieved goal and the task left behind in the implementation of the current course of study. We have made the investigation how well our student has achieved expected outcome in the current course of study. You can see the achieved goal increase the rate of children and students who like sports and physical activity. It's a so-called that student has strongly motivated to be physical activity. This situation has improved. And then stop of decline of fitness level. Our student fitness level has declined always after the 1980s. But it is not so high. Therefore, Bipolarization between active children and inactive children is a very serious problem. That we have the two pole children who are so strongly motivated in physical activity. But on the other hand, there are so many students, they are not so motivated in physical activity and so on. And also, the problem-solving ability in using acquiring knowledge and skill, it's not so good. And based on such assessment, we have revised. But on the other hand, this is also the serious problem. This is Japanese, but you can see in the middle, rate of the students who are engaging in physical activity less than 60 minutes in a week, except the physical education. The boy is a 6.5%, but the girl almost a 20%. It's a very serious problem. Even though we are now trying to motivate the girls also to be physically active, but the girls nowadays don't move anymore, except the physical education. They are not so strongly motivated to be physically active. How we can solve this problem? If we would like to change the situation, on the other hand, we have to also follow the educational policy generally. In this revision, the Japanese government has set the 3 objectives: the motivation to learn and the humanity, the knowledge and the skill, thinking, decision-making, and expression. All the subjects have to show these content. That means not only physical education, mathematics, or English, or the Japanese, or the science. They have to show that these contents in the course of study. It's a very hard requirement from the government. But on the other hand, if we would like to achieve these goals, we have to have the adequate content. And also, we have to have the appropriate instructional strategy. Therefore, the alignment among these 3 factors is very serious. Therefore, the Japanese government has required to keep this alignment in the lesson. So, the objectives of physical education in the revised course of study is now described like this. They're based on the requirement from the government. As I have mentioned, knowledge and skill, thinking, decision-making and expression, and attitude to learning and humanity. This is the expected outcome, not only improving the fitness, but also motivating the children, and also giving them the knowledge and the skills to make the decision-making, appropriate decision-making. And also the attitude, and also humanity. That means value of sports is so important. What is fair? How to cooperate in each other. These are the contents to be taught in the physical education. For example, this is the expected outcome for rich sports life. You can see what the competency they have after finishing the schools. In the school, the students have the time to be engaging in the sport, in the physical education lesson. But after that, it's very hard for them to find out the friend or the facilities and so on. Therefore, this is the expected outcome for the long life participation in the physical activity or the sport. I mean, spontaneous attitude to enjoy and have a form of movement according to its characteristics and ability. And also fair cooperation, responsibility, and respect differences. Attitude to keep health and safety, and the thinking, decision making, and so on. That we have to achieve these goals in the physical education. So, to developing the contents, we divided in 12 years into 3 stages, from the elementary to from the entering to the elementary school to the end of the senior high. We have the 12 years. That we have divided into 3 stages. First stage is the first to the fourth grade in elementary school. The focusing on enhancing balance, basic fundamental movement skills. And the fifth to the second in the junior high, that is the 8th grade, experience in many content areas. Yes, run that. And the third grade, the third stage is from the third grade in junior high to the end, introducing elective system, enhancing student ability to able to engage in sports in various ways after school. And what does this mean, the various way? Yeah, you can see there is a quite different the relationship with the sport in the daily life, not only playing, or the watching, or the supporting, or knowing, and so on. Such relationship we would like to enhance. And this is the content area, the physical education and the health education. As you can see, there is a 3 content area. Yeah. The affective domain, psychomotor domain, the cognitive domain, and so on, so on. We have 3 domains in physical education. But in the health education, the cognitive domain and the psychomotor domain and the cognitive domain, there is no social domains in physical, the health education. It's a quite different content structure. And then this is a content area of health and physical education in the revised course of study from elementary to the junior. As you can see, the health education are included from the third grader in the elementary. But usually in the physical education, we have the 6 to the 8 content area for the physical education. These 2 are added from the junior high. That means Budo and the theory of sports and physical education, or the theory of, yeah, it's a theory. That these contents should be taught in the classroom, not in the praxis. And then this is the content of the theory of physical education sports in junior high. For example, for the first grader, diversity of movement sports and the necessity and fun of movement and sports, the several involvement, and then several way of enjoying movement and so on. These content are coming from the scientific, the knowledge. And then usually they are focusing on the social and the human sciences, sports sciences. And this is the health education content. Yeah, it's a quite different. For the junior high, healthy life, the prevention of injury, and the health and the environment, and so on. But as you can see in junior high school, the 48 hours in 3 years should be taught. Yeah, it's a regulation from the government. And then how about the facility? And some of you are always claiming that you don't have any sufficient facility. But the similar situation we can also find out in Japan. And this is the facility in the elementary school and the junior high school and so on. The swimming pool. Yeah, and the martial arts gym. You can see the judo or the kendo or sumo. These are the martial arts should be taught in the junior high school. But in the junior high school, only 47.2% the school has the martial arts gym. That means without any specialized martial arts gym, teacher have to teach the martial arts. It's a reality. Yeah. On the other hand, in elementary school, yeah, installation rate of the swimming pool is under the 90, but most of the school has their own swimming pool. And the number of these installation rate hasn't changed between the 2008 to the 2008, 4 to the age. That means some of the facility is already so old. Therefore, we have to revise. But we have also the new school, even though the rate is the same. That means that some schools don't have enough facility to implement the physical education. But on the other hand, you can see this is the one of the scene that's showing the facilities for PE in elementary school. This is the gym and the playground, and then this is the some of the place to lay the equipment and so on. That these facilities, yeah, are developed by the teachers in that schools. And then equipment. In physical education, we are using several equipment. But you can see these equipment, yeah, to bring the volt, it makes easy to bring, even though they are the first grader in elementary school. Therefore, developing some good equipment for using the physical education, they are always trying to make the physical education lesson effectively. This is also the equipment to measure the distance for the short running, to check the distance between the foot and so on. This is also developed by the teachers in these schools. And there is some box, yeah, that is also for the board and so on. And also we have the textbook for health and physical health and the cell of sports and physical education. You can see this textbook is certificated by the government. Yeah. Therefore, this is for the senior high school, and the students are using this textbook in the field of physical education. But not only publishing the textbook, the publishing company are always supporting the teachers in schools. You can see this is the one of the content area. It's closely related with health and physical education. It's a facet aid. Yeah? But this is a description in the textbook for the student. But beside of this description, there is some comment or information for teachers. Yeah? That means this is a teacher's guide to how to let them know how to use the textbook in the physical education lesson and so on. Therefore, not only the government, but we have some community to improve the physical education in schools. Therefore, this is some of the resources from our minister. There is several documents from the website. If the teacher would like to get some information to how to implement the physical education lesson, they can get the information directly from this website. And also, this is one of the examples for teaching the judo. Even though the judo is very popular in Japan, but not only every teacher are certificated as a judo trainer or the judo teacher and so on. There are so many teachers who don't have any experience in playing judo, but they have to teach. Therefore, the minister has developed a guideline for teaching judo in elementary school. They are always thinking about the teacher, though they don't have any experience in teaching judo, specialized and so on. Therefore, using this document, teachers are trying to teach judo by themselves. And then, how about the monitoring and the quality assurance system? Yeah, related to this system, instructional service and assessment is so important. We say if we would like to realize the quality physical education, curriculum is critical. It's sure, but human resources also so important, and also we have to have the appropriate assessment tool. Without this assessment tool, we cannot assess the reality, what is happening in the school. On the other hand, what should be assessed? The curriculum assessment and the lesson assessment is not the same. Yeah, we can assess the curriculum, but we can assess also the lesson itself. And establishing the loop, the feedback loop between the curriculum and the lesson is so important. Therefore, for assessing the data, we check the curriculum. That means time allocation or the facilities or school conditions and so on. We can check the human resources of schools, and we also check the assessment tool and so on. Therefore, we would like to establish this system, and by taking this system, we are usually taking the backward design, yeah, for developing the curriculum or developing the lesson plan and so on. We would like to check the curriculum, the assessment, and instruction. From the assessment to the instruction, but between these two, we have to develop the assessment tool. Without assessment tool, we cannot assess the lesson outcome and so on. And then, on the other hand, why we have to assess? The most important thing that this concept, assessment for learning. Yeah, teacher can teach something, but how about the children? What they have learned? Yeah, we are expecting to get some specific outcome gotten by the children or the student. Therefore, this movement, this emphasize meaningful learning outcome and the performance-based assessment that is significant, reflect real-life situation and involve the student in the worthwhile and the relevant task. Yeah, from the teacher it is meaningful, but how about from the student? The teacher have to always consider to find out the worthy to teach. And then also, we have to introduce some specific procedure. That means sharing the learning intention, sharing the criteria for success, and the positive feedback based on the criteria for success. The student and the teacher have to share this information at the beginning of the lesson or the unit and so on. And then how to implement the model-based physical education lesson. Yeah, this is one of the themes in the elementary school. But this lesson was implemented based on the lesson plan, which has developed by the former teacher at this school. That means this teacher has a document what the former teacher has done in this school, and looking around the document and try to understand how to implement the PE lesson based on their situation. Therefore, this is one of the themes, the clear instruction and the sharing the information between teacher and student. This is the first grader student. They have to move in a pair, and they have to check the task to be achieved and the critical element in this task and so on. Your teacher showed this information in the lesson. That means the student can spontaneously check the information. And also, at the beginning of the lesson, teacher showed the task to be achieved in the lesson and so on. It's one of the systems to sharing the information. Teachers in school are strongly aware that tool is suffer. Yeah, we know the much information, how to implement the physical education. There is much information on the instructional model, but some teachers fail to use the instructional model. The why? Yeah, the children is quite different. Yeah, even though they are in the same grader and so on. Therefore, no single university methodology will be equally successful with all students. I mean, teachers have to adjust such instructional models to the student of whom they are teaching and so on. And on the other hand, you can see this is a several things in the one lesson, one physical education lesson. Yeah, students are trying to improving their performance in learning. Yeah, they are checking the distance of their foot. Yeah, here is a left leg or a starter. Yeah, for the learning, and that there now discussing how to improve their performance. This is the assessment of the, at the end of the lesson. These students are now introducing what they have done. Yeah, but why? Teacher have to set these several things. It's very important. Not only make students move. We have set the 3 different objectives, thinking, or the cooperation, and so on. These things are also related to each objectives and so on. Therefore, the teacher have to consider precisely the lesson plan, yeah, and also the time allocation. For example, if the duration for this exercise is very short, children have a very little chances to improve their performance and so on. Therefore, teacher have to consider the time allocation in the 1 hour and so on. And then please see this video. This is the junior high. At the beginning of the lesson. Sorry, it's only Japanese, but you can know or imagine how the teacher behaves and what information are now giving to the student in the basketball in the 10th hour. Teacher are now giving the positive feedback that they are coming so in a short time. And then he is now asking what is today's objective. And if the student says the correct answer, the teacher are now praising. There is 2 objectives. They're making a shot in the minimum pass. And the second object is to give the positive feedback if the teammate has made a good decision making. The number of the students almost 60. Yeah, not only 40, because they have a combined. Therefore, on the other hand, there is another teacher. The 2 teachers are implementing this lesson, but he is the main teacher, and he is now explaining the task and to be achieved. And he is now also let them know what they have learned in the last lesson. Maybe the important thing in this lesson is finding the spaces in according with the defense and offense. Therefore, where is the free spaces? Yeah? There is 2 spaces. But if the defense are moving, the free space will changing. That means the student have to know where is the free spaces in the field. Yeah, these contents is also described in the course of study, what the teacher have to teach. And if the student can catch the pass at these spaces, then the student have the much time to make the good shot and so on. This is the explanation from the teachers. There is coming some description. The space will change in according with the defense and offense. And this is the content what they have learned in the last lesson. Therefore, based on this, the checking, teacher are now showing today's task. That means with a minimum pass to make the shot. But at the same time, he is now asking to students why they have to do this one. Yeah? Why they have to reduce the number of the pass. Yeah? The students are answering. Yeah? In the minimum pass, they have the much time to make the decision, or much spaces to play and so on. Therefore, not only showing the task, but also explaining the reason why they have to engage in this task and so on. And this is the explanation or instruction at the beginning of the lesson. And he is now adding some information. Even though they have tried to make the good pass, to make the free spaces, but the last time, some of them have failed to make the good shot. Why? Therefore, expect the outcome today is making shot in the minimum pass. And if you find out the such teammate, you have to give the positive feedback. This is the two tasks to be achieved in this lesson. And in the middle of the lesson, students in the two teams are combined. And the purple team are giving the feedback to the red team. What the red team has done, and what is a good point, what is a bad point. Based on this information, the student can discuss in each other how to improve their performance and so on. And then the most important thing is this one. At the end of the lesson, teacher now giving the comment, checking the today's objective, asking the student if they have remembering. No, that means the student the teams who have made only one pass to make the shot. Yeah, there's two pass. Yeah, therefore, the most of team can make the shot in the two passes. Yeah, this is the result. But also, there are several failures or the mistakes in the game. He has also checked the such situation and so on. And then also he has checked if they have successful making a shot in the minimum pass, or they can make the good shot. And on the other hand, if they would like to make the shot in the minimum pass, they are so afraid, yeah, to make the shot successfully and so on. Therefore, the teacher are now checking their feelings and so on. And then, I have to finish. Maybe it's a time to close. Okay, I'll go. Anyway, this is also the same scene. Okay, I'll go. And making the lesson plan, the four, the W and one H is so important. And also, for developing the lesson plan, we use these strategies and using the knowledge. And these strategies and the knowledge, this is one of the examples of the tactical games approach from the United States. They're giving the modified game and the questioning, checking the tasks and the necessary skills, and then improving their skills and the decision making in the practice, and giving them one more chance to make the game and so on, and checking the improvement. And this is also one of the procedure in the lesson, in the physical challenge, to enhance the cooperation and so on. Introducing thinking in a group, the problem solving in positive cooperation, the success in problem solving and expression, and also the reflecting. This is one of the procedure in relating with the objective and so on. Therefore, we set some topics to be asked in the lesson, and also teachers' involvement. We described such one. What we have to do if 45 minutes. Sorry. Okay, a little bit time. Huh? This description is so important. You can imagine there's a quite different student in the class. Some of them is very easy to achieve some task, but there are so many the students who cannot achieve it. Then for that student, teacher have to some procedure to improve their performance or the understanding and so on. Therefore, for making the unit plan, we also divided several the stages, but there is some items to check the appropriateness of the lesson plan and so on. Based on this information, after making the lesson plan, we check the appropriateness of the lesson plan. Okay, sorry, I have to move. This is sorry, I should tell it, the content, sorry. Open class. Yeah, maybe you can hear the lesson study here in this country. We also have the same system in physical education also. This is an open class in junior high. And why the teacher have to do the open classes? The open class means that one teacher showed their lesson to the another person. Not only the physical education teachers, but also the parent. It would be possible. And oh yeah. Yeah, this is the one of the things in elementary school. The teacher are preparing and for the content and the information to teach. But this is done not only by the one teacher who will have the open classes. The teachers are so cooperative to develop and implement it. This is one of the things the teachers are gathering and discussing how to make the appropriate lesson plan. Therefore, in this scene, teachers are discussing, not only discussing, trying to use it among them and reflect and revise the lesson plan and so on. And we have also the system for teacher education. These are the teachers selected from the prefecture. They are gathering and having the information how to implement the lesson plan. In this program, we have introduced the tactile games approach and also the cooperative learning model. And these teachers have to teach this information to the teachers in each prefecture. And also the open class or lesson plan will be implemented in each school level. Sorry. But on the other, maybe also in the morning, you have asked the reliability of the data. Teachers are discussing each other, but some of the information is very subjective. Yeah, even though they are observing the same lesson, but the opinion is quite different. Therefore, sometimes we are using the systematic observation system to gather the information what is happening in the lesson and so on. And also the academic society are supporting to gather the information to implement the quality physical education or assessing the physical education and so on. Anyway, sorry, I have to stop. Yeah, not only the school, but also the company are so cooperative to develop the equipment for implementing the appropriate the PE lessons. In this sense, establishing the good community for implementing the quality physical education is so important that we are always trying to keep this the relationship with several the stakeholders. Anyway, Sorry, I have to stop, and thank you very much to be tolerant to hear my presentation. Thank you very much.